What's up everybody, Matt Maran here for another weekly update. So there's lots of exciting news to go over here, but before I get into that, I first want to announce the winner for the Volvo Dashcam giveaway that I announced earlier this week. And a huge thanks to everyone that commented and entered to win the contest. So I used the random name picker thing online there and put in all the names, and the winner is Taco Tom. So congrats Taco Tom. I will be contacting you shortly on Instagram to figure out your address and ship it over to you. So congrats to him for winning the Volvo Dashcam. And I'm going to be doing more Dashcam reviews next year and plan to do more giveaways of them down the road as well. So definitely stay tuned for those. But anyway, getting into all the news this week, lots of exciting stuff. There's a few early debuts and reveals ahead of the Detroit Auto Show, and there's some stuff that's teased for the Detroit Auto Show. So first thing here is Chevy surprised everyone this past weekend by doing an early reveal of the 2019 Chevy Silverado. So it's very bold. We only have a few pictures of it here. They just were having this 100 years celebration birthday party thing for Chevy trucks, and they just helicoptered it in, which is a pretty extravagant way of revealing it. We don't have any details. The only thing we do know is there's this new LT Trail Boss model, which is the one you're seeing. But of course, there's going to be normal ones that are going to look more subdued and toned down. I know this look is pretty polarizing to some people. I think in normal trim, it'll look a little less offensive to some. It personally doesn't bother me, but they definitely wanted to go a little more distinctive and not play it safe with this Trail Boss version. But anyway, the full reveal and details will be in Detroit here in less than 4 weeks. Another vehicle that's probably going to be revealed at Detroit, but it's not certain yet, the 2019 Ford Ranger. One thing we do officially know is that they're going to be revealing the Raptor version in Bangkok, Thailand on February 7th, which sounds really kind of bizarre. But hey, I'm just glad they're revealing it. Doesn't matter where it's at. And interestingly, that lines up, it's around the same time as the Chicago Auto Show. And Chicago's traditionally a show where there's lots of new trucks that debut. We do know that we're getting a couple debuts of trucks at the Detroit Auto Show with the Ram and the Silverado here both debuting. So I think Ford maybe wants to downplay the Ranger a little bit, although it sounds like there's still a good chance the normal standard Ranger will be revealed at the Ford press conference at the Detroit Auto Show, because their press conference is like 45 minutes long, where most press conferences are usually 30 minutes long. So I highly doubt the Bullet is going to take up the entire 45 minutes. So I'm sure there's going to be something else to reveal, whether that's a GT500. That's still a big if, but the Ranger sounds a little more likely, but could be all three. Ford has surprised us in the past, so we'll just have to wait and see. But anyway, interesting to hear. At least we'll definitely see the Ranger Raptor by February 7th, if not sooner. Another vehicle that was officially revealed, but we only have a couple of pictures here, is the 2019 Jeep Cherokee. It's just the refreshed version, not an all-new vehicle, but as you can see, they made the front end a little more traditional, a little less crazy. I like the way that it looks now, with more traditional headlamps instead of the weird split thing that they had before. The back end, they also kind of toned it down a little bit, and they kind of redid the hatch there, so it now includes the license plate holder, and also redid the taillights, and looks very good. Again, we'll get the full reveal at Detroit with all the details on it then, and so in the meantime, we just have a few pictures. Another vehicle that was officially teased was the Hyundai Veloster Turbo. There's going to be an all-new one here for 2019, revealing in Detroit. And so, to go along with that little teaser video that they posted, it was actually spied during a commercial shoot, just like the Bullet, doing some high-speed runs, so the pictures are a little blurry here, but what we can see is it looks really cool. Looks, similar to the outgoing Veloster. It's an all-new model, though, but just retains the same quirky shape and, odd door layouts that I think is really cool about it. And so, cool to see that spied here a little bit, and we'll have all the details again at Detroit. We do know there's an N version, but it's probably not going to be coming until later on next year, so we'll probably just get the standard Veloster and Veloster Turbo in Detroit. But anyway, great to see that finally making a reveal. Honda has officially shown off the 2019 Honda Insight Prototype that they're going to be showing at Detroit. And so the Insight name they're bringing back, which is cool. And so this is a production model, even though they're calling it Prototype. Honda's been doing that in the past couple of years, where It's basically a production ready model, but they're like, it's a prototype because not everything is quite right 100%. So they're scared to call it the just normal Insight. It's the prototype. But these are going to be going on sale next summer, so rolling them out really quickly. And they are labeling this as an upscale, stylish 5-passenger sedan positioned above the Civic in Honda's passenger car lineup. So Honda's hybrids and EVs are a little confusing right now. So we already know an Accord hybrid is coming, but that's supposed to be a little bit larger. We also have the Clarity plug-in hybrid, which is a little bit more extensive with the hybrid features there. That's also about Accord size, mid-size. So they want something Civic size, but I guess Civic hybrids have kind of been a flop in the past, and they want to go a little more upscale. So I think what we're looking at here is a blend of Accord and Civic styling, and a little smaller than an Accord. But has that hybrid functionality. And I think they're kind of just going off like Hyundai's Ioniq and how that's slightly different from, the Elantra and the Sonata and, kind of a midway point there. And so anyway, interesting, and we'll have more details. We don't have any details as far as the powertrain, so we'll have more details on all of that again at Detroit. Another Honda offering, this time Acura. They're showing off the 2019 Acura RDX Prototype, which again is very, very production ready, and that'll be shown at Detroit. It's a totally new vehicle, not a refresh. So this is a ground up thing, and they're saying that it's probably going to go back to the turbo motor, like the first gen had a turbo motor. So this time that's much more common these days with turbo motors. So I think they're going to get back to that. What we can see from the little teaser there is it's got a front end that's going to be very similar to the TLX, and they want to have that corporate face like everybody else does these days. So chances are, basically think of a crossover version of the TLX, and you're in the right ballpark for what this is going to look like. But anyway, interesting to see that, and again, all the details in a few weeks here. Another vehicle, Infiniti, has released a teaser image, but they did not give a name for this vehicle. So they just showed this image. They're going to be showing it at Detroit, and we'll have more details then. They just say that it will have more compact and less intrusive powertrains, which means probably an electric vehicle or some type of hybrid at the very least. And they also say it'll have a long cabin because of that powertrain being able to open up new possibilities for the interior. So again, most likely an EV. Although this does look really sweet from that front end shot, and I would love to see some kind of, sports car or supercar from Infiniti, or, some rebadged GTR. I don't think this is anything like that. This sounds like this is some futuristic type of thing. Could even be a crossover. It's really hard to tell from that shot. But anyway, interesting to see that. And again, more details soon. Lexus has shown off a second teaser for the LF1 Limitless flagship crossover concept that they're going to be showing at Detroit. So the second teaser shows us the front end, where you can see these very complex LEDs, and the way they come on is very interesting there. And that's all we have to go off of, just a little teaser. And anyway, interesting to see that. And so take a little break from Detroit here for a minute. But a few days before Detroit is the 2018 Tokyo Auto Salon, and Toyota is going to be showing off a new concept, but I'm really confused about this because it's going to be called the GR Super Sport Concept. And as you can see, it looks like one of their Le Mans race cars, which is interesting. So I don't know if this is going to be a road legal thing, or if they're getting into the track only fun car segment that all these other companies are getting into, or if this is just some fun design study. I don't know, but it looks radical, whatever it is. Yeah, so anyway, interesting to see that. Back to some Detroit stuff though. BMW announced the vehicles they're going to be bringing to Detroit. The new ones are going to be the X2 and the refreshed i8 Coupe. We already saw the refreshed or the new i8 Roadster. So the i8 Coupe gets the same performance enhancements, where it's got a couple extra miles on the electric range, a couple extra horsepower, pretty minor changes, honestly. So they're going to be showing the Coupe version there at Detroit, and also the X2, which we've already seen all the pictures of for a month or so now. But they're going to be finally seeing it in person, because it hasn't been actually made an appearance at an auto show yet. And they also announced the price for the X2 this past week. So it's going to be starting at $39,395, including destination. So a little bit under 40 grand there. And that gets you the xDrive 28i model with the 2-liter turbo motor and all-wheel drive. And so, yeah, this is going to be, based on the X1, same front-wheel drive base platform, but, all-wheel drive, of course. And, so I'm sure they'll sell very well, because everyone's chomping at the bit for crossovers these days. But anyway, I'll be checking that out at Detroit for you guys. So getting away from the Detroit stuff, finally, another BMW Group thing is Mini has announced they're going to be offering a new 7-speed dual-clutch transmission for the Cooper and 3-door, 5-door, and convertible versions here for the 2018 model year. And so it's going to be replacing the Steptronic actual torque converter automatic that they've had for a while there in the Minis for years and years. The manual is still going to be standard, so thankfully the manual is safe, but just this new improved automatic here. It has a new crawl function for smoother stop and go, which is always an issue with dual clutches, so it's good that that's something they're focusing on. And it even uses the nav data to inform the shifting points on the transmission, which is something that Rolls-Royce rolled out originally back with the Wraith and Ghost, and I think even the Phantom. And so now this is trickling down. Not sure, I mean, it didn't make a huge difference in the Wraith that I reviewed, or even the Ghost that I reviewed this past, a few months ago. But anyway, it's a cool bragging thing to say, I suppose. And anyway, interesting to hear that, and it's available to order there on Minis right now. So anyway, interesting to see that. Other BMW news is the 2019 M3 was spied. Now we've seen the standard 3 Series spied already. Now we see the M3 does not have production headlights. Otherwise, though, looks pretty, production ready. You can see it's got some slightly wider fenders, a little bit of a vent or something there in the front fender as well. The quad exhaust in the back, slightly more aggressive front bumper that's camouflaged. We can't really make out the exact shape of it. And that's about it. So not sure when we're going to be seeing this. Cool to see them working on it though. And since it's being developed alongside the standard 3 Series, it could actually reveal at the same time as the standard 3 Series or very shortly thereafter, which would be awesome. Who knows when that will be though. Could be Geneva, could be sometime later on next year. But anyway, interesting to see that. Another performance car that was spied was the new Audi RS7. So it was spied testing, here in the snow, and there's a bunch of Audi and Volkswagen products all testing in the snow right now. So there's gonna be a bunch here. But anyway, as you can see from the RS7 here, not production final yet because you can see the fenders are still kind of rough, there's still some other adjustments to be made there. But the brakes look massive. That's one of the dead giveaways. We know this is definitely the RS7. Those brakes are huge. As far as rumors for the RS7, we're hearing it could have a version of the 4-liter twin-turbo V8 that's in all the Porsche, Audi, and now Lamborghini stuff with the Urus. And they say it could have 650 horsepower too for the RS7 at least. They said there could be a hybrid version that even has 700 to at least have it as much horsepower or more horsepower than the Urus out of the same engine. Again, this is going back to my complaint about the Lamborghini Urus using this part spin engine. It's a little unfortunate because the RS7 may actually be faster than it. But anyway, interesting to see that. Another vehicle that was spied was the next-gen Audi Q3, and so it looks, pretty basic there. It's got those headlights that are halogen and not very finished. There's going to be nicer headlights, of course, for the production version, but basically the takeaway here with the new Q3, it's an all-new next-gen version. It's going to be slightly longer in order to give rear seat passengers better leg room and things like that. And anyway, that should be arriving sometime next year. So anyway, interesting to see that. Spied very closely nearby was Volkswagen's new T-Cross, which was spied in the snow here. It's smaller than the T-Roc, which we still don't get here in the States, but was revealed for Europe there earlier this year. And anyway, this T-Cross is based on the Polo, which again, we do not get here in the States. AutoGuide's saying that this T-Cross isn't going to come to the United States. But Volkswagen has to pull a small crossover from somewhere, because right now the only small crossover offering they have is the Tiguan Limited, and the Limited version is just an old Tiguan that, they have the new Tiguan now, which they made massive with 3 rows of seats and stuff, and so they need to find something small real quick, because this is the hottest segment in the automotive industry right now, and Volkswagen has nothing but an outdated car to sell. So I don't know. I mean, they're saying that, they're going to make their own small crossover for America specifically, but that's going to take way longer. The T-Roc looked very cool. Pull that over here and just be done with it, I think, personally. But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, anyway, interesting to see that little T-Cross. Other Volkswagen stuff, though, that is actually pretty exciting is Car Throttle spoke with Volkswagen's product line spokesman, Martin Hube, who confirmed that Volkswagen has developed an Arteon R prototype. So I don't think they confirmed if they're building it or not, but they have a running prototype that they say is using a turbo 3-liter VR6 motor, which sounds glorious, and it does 409 horsepower, and it has the same all-wheel drive system from the Golf R, the Haldex all-wheel drive. And yeah, so this thing is supposedly being worked on. I'm assuming it's going to be built, unless this is just some fun engineering thing. We know we're going to be getting the Arteon here in the United States next year. It's already available in Europe. And all that Volkswagen is committing to right now is saying that we're going to get the Arteon here in the States, and it's going to have the 276 horsepower, 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder version. That is the highest performing version. They're saying on record right now. Fingers crossed we get this Arteon R, though. That would be really sweet, especially if it actually comes out with 409 horsepower. That would be really awesome, especially from a VR6. That's got to sound so good with the turbo. So anyway, interesting to see that. Mercedes confirmed to Automotive News this past week that the A-Class sedan is in fact coming to America here. So we're going to be getting it, I believe, next year. And so, you know, we already have the CLA, so I don't know if the CLA is going to get a little bigger or if it's just going to be a really coupey version of the standard, A-Class we're going to get now as a regular sedan. We do know the GLA is safe. That's just the lifted up hatchback version. And they did also show a few more pictures of the interior this past week, which for a small luxury sedan is mind-blowingly nice. It's amazing how sweet it is. So, yeah, but we don't have any details as far as when they're going to finally reveal a production version. Mercedes does have a press conference scheduled for Detroit, but so far the only thing we know is that they're bringing the new G-Wagon that they're going to be officially revealing there. Otherwise, though, don't know if this A-Class is going to show up in production form or not. So far, we've just seen a concept. But anyway, interesting to see that. The Truth About Cars this past week discovered some interesting Cadillac plans through the GM VIN code and HTSA documents. So they did some digging here, and kudos to them for uncovering this. So there's some changes for the 2019 model year that Cadillac has planned here. And supposedly, now these plans, they said that can change up to 60 days before production of these models. So this could still change, but according to the documents currently the Cadillac submitted, the ATS is going to be coupe only for 2019. There's no sedan version for the 2019 model year, but all of the same engine options are still available, so there's still going to be an ATS-V, just only for the coupe. So if you want a brand new ATS sedan, go get one now because they're going away here. The CT6 is also going to drop its 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine option, and so now the new base motor is going to be the 3.6-liter naturally aspirated V6. You will be able to get the 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder in the hybrid version of the CT6, but that's the only way you're going to be able to get it. Also, all CT6s are going to be all-wheel drive, other than that hybrid one as well. And so interesting to hear that. Other Cadillac stuff here, the CTS and XTS are going to be unchanged for 2019, supposedly. But, we have been hearing that the ATS, the CTS, and the XTS, they're all rumored to be getting killed off after the 2019 model year because there's supposedly going to be a new CT5 sedan that's going to be coming to just replace all 3 cars, and they're just kind of downsizing to one car that's going to be for all $35,000 to $45,000 customers. And then they're just going to assume people go up to the CT6 if they want a larger sedan. But with how sedans are less and less popular these days, that totally makes sense. But we haven't seen any prototypes or anything yet, so it's a little early, but hopefully we'll start seeing some stuff soon if they're still on track with having this be a 2020 model year car for this new CT5. We also do know the XT4 is going to be revealed next year, most likely at the New York Auto Show in the end of March, but again, we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, interesting to hear all that Cadillac news. The Miata is getting a couple of changes here for 2018, so just a couple of new options here. First is you're going to be able to get, as you can see, the dark cherry top is now going to be available for 2018, and then there's just a few other trims that are getting some changes. So the Grand Touring trim gets a new reddish brown Napa leather option, which is the same one that was seen in the Miata RF Launch Edition. That's now going to be available. I think it's like a $300 upcharge for that interior. Base sport models now get the nicer 7-inch screen as standard, which is very cool. So they're getting rid of the small little screen or display there instead. Everyone gets the 7-inch. Club models also get heated cloth seats now, with leather being part of the upgrade for the Brembo BBS package. And then you can also now get heated seats on the Recaro seats as well, which is something the 124 Abarth already had, so that totally makes sense. Also, base 2018 sport models are now $395 more expensive, and starting at $26,100 $30,185 now, and that's partially, I think, because of that new, bigger screen. The club models go up $370 to $30,045, and the Grand Touring now is $145 more expensive at $31,085, and they're basically available now. So anyway, cool to hear all that. Toyota has revealed a new GT trim for 2018 for the 86. And this GT trim is basically the BRZ Limited trim, where you just get all the, the heated seats, auto climate control, leather seats, push button start, keyless entry, and the 4.2-inch display and the gauge cluster that the BRZ Limited got for 2017. So, and a lot of this stuff was already available in the 860 edition of the 86 for 2017. So now they're just saying, okay, well, instead of being some limited edition, we're just going to offer it normally. And I mean, so not a huge deal there. And anyway, those new GT trims of the 86 are going to be starting at $29,280. So interesting to hear that. Subaru has announced pricing for the BRZ TS and the WRX STI Type RA, which are two models they announced here for 2018 that we're finally getting here in the States. So we'll start with the BRZ TS. So the TS starts at $34,355, which isn't too bad of an upcharge considering a limited one is still well over $30 already. And for that extra money, you get the stiffer STI tuned suspension, which has some beefed up, components to it. You also get lightweight wheels with Michelin Pilot Sport tires, the Brembo brakes, which are part of the performance package already anyway. You get a carbon fiber spoiler that's very large there. You get the ground effects kit there and some special interior accents, but of course no additional power. So yeah, not a huge deal. I think it's actually a decently priced option package there, for all the special stuff you get. But the WRX STI Type RA, here's the price on that one. And if you're a Subaru fan, I hope you're sitting down. The price is going to be $49,855. 50 grand basically for this WRX STI Type RA. Whenever a standard STI runs you 36, 37, even in limited trim, you're 40 grand. So this is like 10 grand extra. Here's what you get for basically 10,000 additional dollars. Carbon fiber wing, which is cool. Carbon fiber roof, which is also very cool. You get lightweight wheels, front lip, revised third gear ratio and shorter throws for the manual, special Bilstein dampers, a modified VDC system, silver painted brake calipers, 5 more horsepower from an intake, a cold air intake, high flow exhaust, retuned ECU, and stronger pistons, special Recaro seats, and then there is ultra suede on the steering wheel, and then they also take away your spare tire for that extra 10 grand. So those are the improvements here for the Type RA. Now it's going to be a very limited edition. I think they're only making 500 of them. Very rare, special, WRX STI, but come on, okay, maybe 5 grand. I can see the carbon fiber roof and stuff being expensive, but this is really crazy. 50 grand is a tough pill to swallow, even for, the biggest of Subaru fans. So, yeah, I don't know how well that's going to sell, but kudos to them for offering it, I suppose. Some other WRX news here is Autocar spoke with Subaru's design chief, and he was talking about the Visive performance concept, which was revealed at Tokyo, I believe, and was very well received. And he says that they're glad that everyone's really liked the design of the concept, and everyone's worried, oh well, it's just a concept, it's not going to actually look like this. And here was his response. He said that they look forward to seeing certain design themes come to production and that they want to look fast even when parked. So I think that's kind of hinting that they would like to make it this aggressive, but they said certain design elements and not everything. So I don't know. I feel like it's almost like a coy way of saying it's not going to look as awesome as the concept, but who knows? It could really be taken both ways. Also, they were talking with him further, and he was saying that all-wheel drive is important to WRX buyers, and the boxer engine is also important to them, but not as important as the all-wheel drive. So they say all-wheel drive is the key here with the WRX, and so they say that they have a little more freedom with the engine, which is why they're considering doing a hybrid version. They think that WRX owners won't be annoyed by a hybrid WRX. I don't know. We'll have to see. I think it might be a 50-50 split of people that, give up on it because of the hybrid aspect. And some people will, see the performance enhancements and probably go for it. But they said that, for some, driving pleasure is still very important, and that is what we are exploring. So I think, there was all the eyesight and the autonomous kind of stuff going on with that Vis of Performance concept. And I think people were like, no, we don't want that. We want to be able to drive it, and enjoy the drive experience. So I think they're kind of like, okay, we'll maybe scale back the autonomous stuff a little bit, but we will, make sure that, we do some kind of fun powertrain with it. So we'll just have to wait and see what turns up here with this new WRX. It's supposed to arrive in 2020, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see, what they end up deciding to do with it. But anyway, interesting to hear that nonetheless. And there's a little bit of Mustang news here to talk about real quick. There's a Ford fleet document this past week that showed that the 2019 model year Mustang production schedule could be changed here, and that it'll actually look like 2018 Mustangs are going to have a short production run of maybe 8 or 9 months because Ford wants to get on a better schedule, I think. So basically the way this is set up for the 2018s, you're going to be basically the cutoff to order 2018 is going to be like the beginning of March, and the last 2018 Mustangs are going to be built like the very beginning of June. And then 2019 Mustangs, you're going to be able to start ordering those mid-March, and they're going to be starting to build mid-June. And so basically the 2019 Mustangs should be on dealer lots by the end of July, I think is a safe bet. So that kind of puts them in a better position because, every year here, the brand new 2018 Mustangs are now just finally at all the dealerships and people are starting to buy them. And it's the middle of winter and no one wants to, launch a sports car in the middle of winter. I don't know why Ford's been doing this the past few years. I mean, back when I bought my 2014 EcoBoost Mustang, back when it was a brand new launch, again, I picked that thing up in November because that was one of the first ones there was in November. So I think this is better to get on this, cycle of launching a new sports car in the middle of summer instead of in the middle of the winter. So that's a good change there. So other things to note here about the 2019s, we don't really know anything. There probably won't be any changes since they just refreshed, for 2018 here. It's still really fresh. But according to this paint code site, it looks like for they already have 2019 Mustang paint colors listed, and it looks like yellow is going away, and instead there's going to be a color called Spinel Green, which is a gem. And so that could either be a placeholder for Highland Green for the Bullet, if the Bullet turns out to be a 2019 model, or if it carries over to 2019, or it could be a unique color. It could be in place of like a grabber green, or it could just be actually just Spinel Green is the name of the color, and it's a totally new color here that we'll see for the 2019 Mustang. So very interesting there. Obviously for the 2019 stuff, I would like to have my car before the end of July. So I'm hoping the Bullet's a 2018 personally, but if it's a 2019, that's still not too bad, to get it, end of July, early August. Still better than taking delivery in the middle of the winter. So anyway, interesting to hear that there about the 2019s. Continental this past week, they didn't officially reveal anything, but someone found their patent filings for Continental Tire has this engineering services division, and they have made their own supercar concept that's probably going to be revealed at the Consumer Electronics Show. I think like the first or second week there in January, that's where we're probably going to see this. I'm not sure why they made a supercar though. They're not going to be building it. I think it's just a rolling showcase for some technology. But this is a far extent to go to for something that you're just going to be showing products off on. But anyway, as you can see, it has some Bugatti Chiron styling there in the back a little bit, but otherwise it's a really sweet looking supercar, and it's a shame it's never going to hit the streets most likely. But anyway, interesting to see that. The last bit of news here this past week is Volvo has announced that they're delaying their Drive Me autonomous program for 4 years. So originally they had planned to have 100 self-driving cars in Sweden to test autonomous technology, and they'd actually be driven by families and observed and learn their driving patterns to improve the artificial intelligence in these computers for this autonomous driving. But the company's autonomous driving program director told Automotive News Europe that on the journey, some of the questions that we thought were really difficult to answer have been answered much faster than we expected. And in some areas, we are finding that there were more issues to dig into and solve than we expected. So basically, they're saying like this is like they can't keep up at the pace they're going, and they can't do what they were planning on doing. So instead, they're saying they still plan to gradually put more families base in Gothenburg, Sweden area in some XC90s with level 2 autonomous technology, and have cameras and sensors studying these drivers to learn how they drive and improve the autonomous systems. And they plan to gradually have up to 100 people in the program by 2021 there in Gothenburg, Sweden. But Volvo said no technology will ever be introduced if there is any question over its safety. And I just have to say, bravo, Volvo. They're always kind of some of the leaders as far as safety tech goes, and I really applaud them. Everyone's rushing to keep up with Tesla and, have these autonomous driving cars because that is like this big wow factor these days. But it's not totally safe. It's not foolproof. These systems are easily fooled, and, even the autonomous emergency braking systems often go off for no reason. It actually just happened. My wife has a, 2016 Mercedes C300, and that has the standard autonomous emergency braking, and just the other day it hit the brakes on her for no reason. She was almost rear-ended by the person behind her that wasn't expecting her to slam on her brakes because there was nothing in front of them, and fortunately nothing bad actually happened, but it scares the crap out of you, and it's like, why is this thing braking? I heard of another version where there's a plastic bag that blew into someone's the front bumper where they have the sensors there. This was, I think, another journalist or something that said this, and the car came to a full ABS stop because a plastic bag was blocking the front bumper. In bad weather, these systems don't work reliably, and everyone's just, we'll make it standard and all, let's just do all this positive PR about how safe we're making everyone by no one's getting rear-ended anymore because we have this technology. And it's like, yeah, no one's getting rear-ended by inattentive drivers, but you might have these things locking up their brakes for no good reason and causing additional accidents because these computers crash. Computers get slow. Computers, aren't always perfect, and they can't even figure out some really basic things still. So I think it still has a ways to go. I think it will eventually be perfected, and I know that eventually there will be fully autonomous cars. But I appreciate that Volvo is saying, let's slow down, guys. Let's get this right, because this is people's lives we're dealing with here. And this isn't just some beta test thing we can just play around with people's lives. And so I think Tesla and all these other companies are fine to just say, we'll just throw people in these cars and give them all the technology, and they can figure it out, and we'll revise it as we go. Volvo's like, nope, we're not doing that. And I really respect Volvo for that. It's really cool. So anyway, it gives us a little more time because hopefully other people will follow Volvo's lead and slow this stuff down to make sure they get it right, as that gives us driving, loving enthusiasts a little more time to enjoy behind the wheel here before we're inevitably replaced by computers one day. But anyway, that's it for all the news this week, guys. So thank you guys very much for watching. Let me know all your thoughts on everything in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.